Hey everybody, if you guys want to see a video, another Loctalk video, please stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome to my new subscribers, come on, viewers and followers, and tuning in. Alright you guys, so we're here for another Loctalk video. I haven't done a Loctalk in a minute, but I'm here nonetheless. And I want to talk to you guys about starting your locks professionally, or starting it at home, or having someone that you know start them, whatever the case is. And what will be a better solution for your hair. A lot of people have these questions and don't have a lot of the answers, but it all narrows down to what you feel comfortable. You know, when you go to a professional or a loctician to get your locks done, you want to you know, make sure that you do your research, especially on the loctician that you go to. And so these are the things that you would you know, go to a loctician to. You know, first things first, you know, if you want to do a loctician or do it yourself, so you have to look and balance and see what is what. So for a loctician, you're going to have to pay a certain amount of dollars depending upon the loctician, okay? A lot of locticians, you know, prices vary, so you have to do your research and see which one is better on your pockets, okay? Then you have to let your loctician know how you want your locks to be. So do you want them big, small, medium, whatever, how you want it parted and stuff like that. And you have to make sure that you have it kind of like down to the T, so they understand what's going on. But the first thing is first is finding a loctician that you trust and that you have seen their work and you feel comfortable with them in order to proceed on to the next steps, or whatever the case is. So you have to really do your research on a loctician before you even decide to get your locks, because you want to make sure that your locks come out right, because you don't want to go to a loctician and you know and you come out like, I don't like it, and then you end up washing your hair and it's like you wasted, you know, whatever amount of money that they, you know, that they charged, which is not good, especially during this pandemic. So you want to make sure you're making the right decision, okay? So make sure you weigh your options. When you do it at home, you basically are probably looking at YouTube or looking on Pinterest or looking at videos just to see how to do it. That also, even though you're not, okay, the same thing here. So with a loctician, you know, it's a professional, but YouTube University, we all have been to YouTube University, where we, you know, YouTube Natural University, where we go to the D.I.Ys and see this, that, and third. So you have to pick somebody that you trust. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at somebody that you trust and make sure that you trust yourself, because you're doing it yourself. And if you have a sibling doing it, or a cousin, or whatever the case is, make sure that you probably been watching this person for a while, or, you know, watching how they, you know, their technique and how their hair is growing and stuff like that, whatever the case is, and whatever you like about them. And so you make sure that you know, you have the right video, that you know that's what you're going to do. You know, you make sure you have all your supplies, make sure you research the products that you want to use, because, or with your hair. So just remember what you use for your loose natural hair, or whatever the case is, and just try to, you know, finagle and try to figure out what products that you know, want to use, or whatever the case is. And then you just proceed on to, you know, locking your hair. Also, you have to have patience with both. If you go to a professional, or if you do your locks, a lot of people get their hair locked and they're like, oh, I want my hair to grow down here. Like, you just got your locks 2 days ago. It's not going to get there right now. Wait, hold your horses. You know what I mean? Or they're like, oh, I want my hair to lock right now. And there is a way that you can lock your hair faster. But I think that's another Loctalk video to talk about. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, so, but it's like, yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm not even going to get into that right now. But anyway, I digress. So, you know, you have to weigh your options. Just basically, that's basically it. Whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you want to spend, because either way, you're going to spend money. If you think about it, you got to buy pins, you got to buy the product. If you don't have a hair dryer, you got to have a hair dryer, unless you want to air dry. You got to get whatever, you probably already got a bonnet or a lock sock or something like that. You know, what else you got to get for locks? Not that much for locks. I mean, you know, so you're probably spending less money than you would go to a loctician, because you have to pay, you know, you're paying for the services and stuff like that. So you'll spend less money, but you're still spending some money. So, you know, it's up to you in your pockets. You know, it's up to your patience, where your patience set up to, you know, for you trusting yourself to do your own locks or whatever the case is. And do you feel comfortable doing them? And, you know, will you be happy when they are finished or whatever the case is? And I will also just suggest, when you're like halfway through, or like if you're starting with the back, and when you get to like the third or fourth row, please look at your locks to see if that's how you want them. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it is turning back, but once they lock, they're locked. I mean, you can unlock them, but it's going to take a minute to comb them out. So just make sure that you feel comfortable with this as the journey goes along. So yeah, so I didn't choose a loctician because I just haven't been to a hairdresser since 2012. Well, I'll say 13, 14, because I did get kinky locks or whatever. Not kinky locks, kinky twist. So I haven't been to a hair salon in a minute. So I really trusted myself, because I have been doing my own natural hair for years. So I trusted myself. I looked at a lot of videos. I had experience with a lot of products. So I was already good right there. And I had the people that I always watch on YouTube. So I watched their videos and stuff like that. So I was already set up. And also, my mother has locks. My brother has locks. So I was already pretty good, you know. I did think about going to a loctician, like, well, let me just go. But then I'm like, no, let me just start them, because this is the way I want them to be. So let me do them myself, because if I mess up, let me be mad at me, okay? I don't want to be mad at that person. I'm like, oh, da, da, da. And that's why I twist downward, because I don't want to twist going back, because my I have fragile edges, and I don't want my hairline receding. So, you know, twisting down, that's just what it is. So I know a lot of people look at it like, why she twist that way? That's why. Because I'm not trying to have my hair pulled back, and knowing I have fragile edges or whatever the case is. So no. But that's just basically about that. So yeah, so it's really up to you. And that's what it all boils down to. It's really up to you how much you want to spend, how much patience that you have with that person, the trust in the loctician, the trust in yourself. And it's just a lot of factors that go into it. So you just have to, you know, sit down and, you know, write the pros and the cons of a loctician and yourself. Okay, pros and cons of yourself. And because you're the only, I'm sorry, you are the one that knows yourself the best. So you have to put the pros and cons for yourself, and the pros and the cons of a loctician. You know, compare the notes and see what it is. Okay, I basically kind of did that in my head, but I already knew that I was going to start my locks, because I already do my own hair. So I'm like, I'm doing my own locks. So that was just an automatic easy for me. But if you have no experience in doing your hair and stuff like that, I would kind of recommend you lean to the loctician, but make sure you find a trusted one, and someone that you know, that's easy on the pockets or whatever the case is. And, you know, just make sure that you give them the right, you know, picture, or, you know, just make sure that they know what they're doing. Like I said, trust them or whatever the case is. Make sure you trust them, and make sure you have seen their work thoroughly. And that's just basically about that. So yeah, professional locks, DIY locks, whatever locks, as long as your hair is looking, you know, good in your eyes, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, then you should be fine. So either way, you know, que sera, is, like I said, it's up to you. So just to give you a tip of that, just to look at those options, balance it out, and then go from your decision from there. And that's just it. It's just you. It's just you, boo. Okay. All right. So yeah. So that's basically about that, you guys. So I'm out of here. That's another Loc Talk. If you have any questions, comments, peace. Bye.